Hello, everyone. Good evening. Look, it's dark outside. I live a very simple life and I'm excited by everything. I was excited by snow recently. Like, we haven't had snow in like what? It's been years since we've had any snow that's like stayed overnight or for a day or two. It's been a really long time.
At least 4 or 5 years.
That's what I was thinking too. I think we had some snow a couple of years ago, but it was just like, oh, look outside, it's snowing. But like, it's been maybe 5 or 6 years. We had like, I remember like 6 or 8 inches of snow here in North Durham, and it was kind of crazy. And then there was no snow. So tonight, there's still a little bit of snow on the ground. But we are here with Sangeeta, and we're doing our monthly positivity circle. And this is our second one. So I'm still a little rusty at it. So, Sangeeta, would you like to kind of introduce yourself and talk about the positivity circle, how you run it in your house, in your home, in case people want to do that, and how we're going to run it tonight virtually?
Yes, definitely. Hello, everyone. I hope you have been doing well, um, or feeling positive. If not, hopefully by the end of this session, you will feel a little bit better. And if you're feeling good, you will feel even better, I hope. So, I have been, like many other people, struggled with my mental health issues during the pandemic. After that, I was still struggling, and I realized that we have lost the things that we used to do prior to the pandemic. That socialization is not happening anymore, and I needed to do something about it. So I started exactly a year ago this in-person positivity circle at my house. I invited a few friends. I made sure that they were from many different backgrounds, so that we learn to respect the differences, we learn to coexist with each other. And to my surprise, they came. And I the way I conduct it in person, if anyone wants to do this, i I offer a very light, healthy snack, maybe some hummus and baby carrots, some nuts, some tea, and coffee. That's about it. Because I want to keep it very, very easy. If I make it a potluck, then people feel obligated. So I want to make it easy for everyone to attend. Um, it is usually a 2 hour session. First, the guests come and they mingle. Sometimes there are new people, so everyone gets introduced. They have tea and coffee, or coffee and a little bit of snack, and then we begin by taking a perspective, taking that we will do online as well. So after my first session, I felt really good, but I wasn't sure about the other people. And I didn't think anyone will come the next time, but I sent little text messages regardless. And to my surprise, people showed up. And the month after month after month, people kept coming to my little small circle. And then what happened? Something interesting happened. Is with me last month, my husband had some health issues and he was hospitalized. And going through all this, dealing with everything, it was time for my in person session. And I was wondering whether I should host it or not, because it's also the time when a lot of people travel. But I thought that I needed it. I needed that positivity even in the darkest moments, right? So I still hosted it, and I felt really good that I had that support of people around me, that I am building a support system for myself and for other people. And I want to have an environment where if somebody is struggling, they feel welcome, and they get the support they want. So I have gone through this now over a year of in person, and I met Kathy at Thanksgiving, and I was telling her about it, and she was like, "Uh-huh, would you come and do this online?" And I said, "Why not?" So we did one last month. And I think it was after that, Kathy, that Dilip's health issues became really concerning. And then we had to go to the hospital, but he's okay. Um, so that is the background of how it all came about.
Well, I'm so thankful that you're here and grateful for that and grateful for you coming last month. I did just put a poll in the comments if people, if you attended last month or not, if you could just let us know by just clicking in the comments if you're watching this live. If you're watching this later, you could maybe put it in the comments as well. That would be really great. I was really sad and surprised to hear about Dilip, and I'm so glad that he's doing okay. But it's really scary when you have a health issue, and especially if you are a loved one or a friend goes into the hospital. So did you have the positivity circle in your home while he was still in the hospital?
Yes, I did. I did, actually.
And how did that feel? Like, how did it feel before and after that?
Yeah, I mean, before that, I was really, we haven't done this ever. This is something completely new. So I'm like, should I do it? Should I not do it? But I felt like I needed the support. So
Yeah.
so I decided to go ahead and have it. um, and then I knew very few people will come, even fewer people will come, because it was the holiday time, people traveling or have guests over, or busy time for everyone. So only a couple of people came, but I think that it gave me a lot of strength in that time.
I think it was really smart of you to do that. And I think for me and maybe some other people, when you're in the middle of something that's kind of upsetting, it's hard to be that smart. Right? Oftentimes, when I don't feel so good, I just want to hide in my little hidey hole. Um, and I just kind of wanted to pull that out for everybody else too, because I'm finding too, like I had a lot of travel and some different things. This is a much milder example than yours, but I was tired and I was feeling a little bit burnt out from traveling with the same people. But we went to the vegan buffet, the Indian buffet,
Yeah, at Sitar.
and it was delightful. I went in feeling one way and I came out feeling like supported, and I felt like, like if you've had a time, even if just maybe Cheryl and I have spent too much time together and I'm a little irritable about being around people, and then you go out and you're like, oh my goodness, these are these people that I really connect with. It reminds me, at least, of a whole other different world of options around.
Correct. And it's easy to like just go on a downward spiral, but really, if we have a circle of supportive people, we can lift each other. I think that is the idea behind this positivity circle.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. Cheryl's coming in. She just had been doing some things with her car, getting her car all tuned up and stuff. Um, but it is really interesting because I will say I am definitely an introvert, even though I tend to socialize a lot. When I socialize, then I come back home. Sometimes I'll go to Target and I'll come back home and crawl into bed for 15 minutes and just be like, put on the spa music, cover my head, because I'm just a little bit overstimulated.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're just kind of chatting about a few things. Do you want the other? You can get the other
Yeah,
stool.
I'll swap it out.
Sorry, this is
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt everybody.
getting all excited. No, I'm glad that you're joining in this time. And one of the things Sangeeta was saying, she held the positivity circle. Why is that? Why did that just turn on?
I can hear you.
Can you?
I can hear Cheryl. I thought I just heard Cheryl. I don't see
You were
her.
hearing some music, and that's what I was worried about. It's not my normal "let's share it with the world" music. There are curse words in the music's channel it was trying to play. Okay, so you want to sit down so I can make sure your head is in
My
here?
head's in there.
Yeah, because I made it. Yeah, we got to fix that a little bit. And then we can get back started. I'm sorry for
Drinking.
Okay,
just
great.
calm
I
down.
see. I'm reading his comments. Hello, everyone. Hi,
Okay.
Tanya. Hi, Linda. Hi, Elizabeth.
Let's see. There you go. There's your little head. I'll make you some tea in a little bit.
I don't need it.
Um, so we were Sangeeta did her in-person positivity circle in December. Dilip was in the hospital for a little while, but he's okay. Is what I'm trying to catch her up. And then I was just kind of talking about, asked her how it felt doing that during kind of that time of hardness, and also saying it was very smart. And I'm not always very smart when I'm feeling overwhelmed. So, oh, awesome. Hi, Ollie. Yeah, it can be, it's very interesting. And how do you think, Sangeeta, that you came to that you were able to stay so present with yourself and your needs?
Yeah. So I thought that I'm a parent. So I have a daughter. I am working full-time work, and I have somebody in the hospital. So while I'm juggling this, here it's all up to me right now. And I need to first take care of myself so that I can take care of all these things that depend on me right now. And so I decided that no matter what, I do need my dose of positivity. I do need my people, my support system. Um, and it was really a matter of let's take 2 hours for self care. And then I can care for my husband, I can do my job, and I can take care of my daughter. But first, I need to be taken care of. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think in a situation like that, I think that you have to take care of yourself before anything else, because it's just like, and I've used this analogy before, you have to put your mask on first before you can do anybody else, right? So,
That's the
you know,
thing. Yep. Yeah, very good. Good analogy.
No, I just really, really love it. I love that you did that. So, how would you like to start? And is there anything else you want to talk about before we kind of
Yeah.
start here?
Yeah, so one of the things, it's like I don't know those who are in the circle today with us. So I stepped out of the mainstream religion, right? I don't go to a temple. I don't go to a church or whatever because I don't feel like I was getting the support that I needed there. Um, but at the same time, we need something. that is that we can do, which gives us that support, and that's also guilt free. Like in that situation, when I had my husband in the hospital, it probably would not have been a good thing to do if I went and watched a movie with my friends. I mean, not that I would judge anyone for doing that, but I would not think of doing that, because there's a lot that I had on my mind, and I just couldn't do it. Or going to a bar, for example, and have a drink. Maybe it maybe for some people, but I wouldn't feel good about myself. But having this space of positivity circle, which is totally guilt free, um, and also gives us support, and it's a form of self care. I think that's the kind of space that I have originally thought about, and that's the kind of space and time that I have created here. And I hope that anyone who comes to that circle also feels that way, that this is my safe space, this is my support time and space where I get support from, and I can go there in the darkest of my moments.
I like that you really talk about that because I think that it's true. I think it's kind of built in, that kind of support, if you are involved in a religious community of one kind or another. And with many people not having that community, it makes it very difficult. You're fine. I'm just fidgety. She was like, "Am I too close?" I'm like, "No, you're fine." Um, it's and so I do like that, and I also like the fact that you can be in another religious community and still be here. So it's open to absolutely everyone.
That's a good point, Kathy. Absolutely. There is no judgment for anyone here and as a matter of fact, as I said, that is the reason why I invite people from different background. I have devout Muslims, I have devout Christians, I have myself atheist, and in between, I have Hindus. I have, I had a really good. I have a few good, really Baha'i friends, and so I invite this many different. People from different backgrounds and create a safe, respectful place for everyone to be.
And I think it's really important. Rosh Yen is here from Malaysia, so welcome and tell us how Wednesday is, right? Because she's saying it's 8:20 a.m. there. I kind of feel like it's going to be a good day. So, and Simply Obs was saying too, she has experience with extreme Christianity that was homophobic, and that wasn't fun. So, I want to say too, yeah, sometimes people want to have that community and they actually just can't for whatever reason, or even if it's a particular church or a particular religion. And I think that makes things even harder when either you make a choice that you don't want to be there, or maybe they make a choice for you. And Apple, who is a big member in our community, says that I was in
Anglican.
Thank you for saying that word, because I was like, I'm never going to make Anglican nun for almost 20 years. I'm not involved anymore, but I have a lot of spiritual, mystical friends, right? Yes. And a safe and respectful life is great, says Simply Obs. And it is interesting. And one of the things I work in our community, and this is why, Sangeeta, when we were talking on Thanksgiving, I was like, ooh, this really feels like a good fit, because even in the whole food plant-based community and the whole food plant-based no oil community, which you would think, oh, everyone must agree there. No,
No.
no. I kind of feel like you can get so far down and then no one's going to agree no matter what. But the one thing we agree on in my community is that we help and support each other where we are. And help, like if you're trying to eat more vegetables, You're welcome, right? We just don't talk about, if you eat meat, that's your business. We don't talk about that here. We talk about, plant-based recipes, but everyone has to have an entry point into change. And I feel like what you were doing and with the positivity circle is the same thing on in a different way. I want us to have that kind of, we're all lifting each other up. We all have hard times, be it from the fires and weather, global warming, be it from personal issues or loved ones having issues.
We lost a big icon in the food world.
Yeah, well, most of the people here don't. It wasn't in the whole food plant-based world, but Natalie Dupree, who is a Southern cookbook author and an icon, did pass away as well. And a lot of my friends that are local cookbook authors and Southern cookbook authors are talking about that a lot. And Ob says, yes, we all need a positivity circle. And I think we just all need a place where we can go to feel safe and to also feel safe saying positive things, which rings weird to my ears. But I don't know if you've noticed, but it's also often very easy to talk to people about the negative things more than you think. And I get caught up in it too. So don't feel bad. Like, it can be really easy when you hear somebody else's fears about politics or fires or whatever is happening to really let that encompass you. But I like the intentionality of coming to a positivity circle, being free to say something positive without someone saying, "Oh, but the fires."
Yeah.
And some
Right.
right? Do you feel that
Right.
sometimes
I,
too?
I do, and that is why we need this, because just because we come to this positivity circle doesn't mean we are, we are not gonna go through other emotions in our daily life. We will go through many emotions and anxieties and fears and love and um annoyance and everything, right? So we do go through this, and but that's why we need this spot where we kind of clear our heads and take a perspective that there, the life is a mixed bag. Everyone has some struggle or another. No matter how much you disagree with somebody, they too have struggles. No matter how rich somebody is, no matter how poor somebody is, everyone here has some struggle, because that is the very definition of life, is that it comes with its struggles, right? And so give everybody some kindness, give everybody some love in this particular time, and then you can have your differences of opinion.
It's true, and it is easy. I feel like, and maybe it's just because I'm living in this time. I feel like a little more in this time we're more set against each other. Things are black or white. You agree, or you're on my team, or you're not on my team, right?
Right.
And life is more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Life is
Absolutely.
complicated. And you were saying about losing somebody in the cooking world, and I feel very sad. It's been a few weeks, but I feel very sad about passing away of an Indian musician, Zakir Hussain. He has been a part of my life since my childhood, and he just very untimely death. He was also popular here. He played with jazz musicians and had a bunch of, like, just in 2024 he won like multiple Grammy awards.
Oh, wow.
um, and I am just, it was heartbreaking for me. And I still wake up and think about the loss that the music world has had because of his untimely, because he was creating music. If a musician has retired, and after that they pass away, it's still sad, but they're done with their creativity. But he wasn't done, and that is the loss that I feel. And I think that, in spite of that, today I can say that, I was so lucky to be able to attend many of his live concerts, even one last year. So, in this moment, I can focus on positive aspects of even my loss.
It's true, and that's a really good point. That just it's not about I'm negative today or I'm positive today. You can have
Right.
in general, we're going to have a little mix of everything. And I think like a positivity circle, and even just to bring to the positive, it's not toxic positivity. And what I mean by toxic positivity is when you go, I refuse to acknowledge any of the things that are actually negative. I'm only bringing positive things into me constantly.
It's not possible.
No, any more than it is to be perfect. You can't have the perfectly wrapped present or the perfect talk or the perfect anything, because perfection is something that can't be actually obtained. It's a great goal to be better and better. But we also can't have this perfect positive day, right? Because I don't know, if I set my, it's setting, if I do it, I'm setting myself up for something bad. Like I'm going to step in dog poop, or a car is going to splash rain on me because I'm focused, I'm not paying attention to what I need to be paying attention to. And Ali says, focusing on positivity is an exercise. My attention goes to other things. Use kindness when you catch your mind somewhere else. Use compassion to bring it back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's very interesting too, because when we're being, sometimes positivity is feeling those feelings of sadness, like you just said, and maybe remembering something that was really wonderful too. And I like that you're holding those two things at the same time. Let's see. Tanya says, I find the positivity circle a refreshing reminder that there is good even when it's harder to see it some days.
Yes.
And I want to point out that, we're talking about everyone's not all sunshine and roses all day long every day. And sometimes maybe a negative thing leads you to a positive thing, or like you just need to say something negative and just get it out of your system so that you can be like positive and grateful for everything else that happens that day. Like, our lives they ebb and flow, and so do our day to day. And you could wake up and be like, today's gonna be amazing. And then, 10 minutes later, you come upstairs and you got to clean up cat puke. So, I mean, it happens.
Life is real, right?
It is real.
But I was even thinking of like you being laid off, because that was one thing that we've talked about some, because like she had such a hard time with it at first.
Terrible time.
But now, and even we took a trip, and in that trip to Massachusetts, she realized she didn't have to check work every day, that we could stay a couple of days longer. And I could see in her face the stress and the hurt changing a little bit. And so sometimes I think it could take a while too. And I want to go, Lee Ann is saying, carving out time for positivity and gratitude feels like a radical resistance to the pain in the world. And then she's, if I can't dance, I want no part of your revolution, Emma Goldman.
That is amazing comments. Thanks, Leanne.
Right, and Apple responds, sometimes I write my gratitude and joys on poster board and march around my house and protest against negativity. Apple, every time I think I can't love you more, you say something else, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why do you not live near us?
But the picture that comes into my mind, though, is just, Apple in like the equivalent of your dragon onesie, marching through the house, like banging the pot or something, and
Yeah. The other feelings like pain and anxiety, they have a purpose, right? It makes you focus on things that you need to focus. Like I will tell for my husband, he is a non-stop. Those who know him, he doesn't sleep enough, he doesn't rest enough. But having this, compulsorily he's being forced to rest, and that he has realized that. And I was asking him yesterday, would you change anything after you feel completely better? And he's one of the things he said is, I will sleep more and I will exercise more.
That's wonderful. That's great news to hear. I bet you were thrilled.
Yeah, like I
I
mean, I don't think he ever slept before. Like I mean,
He
it
sleeps
just
like 4 hours a
3
night,
hours,
right?
right?
Yeah, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hours is max. Like,
And see, if I sleep 4 or 5 hours, I try to just stay at home and not have contact with people because I'm not a nice person.
And see, and I've been staying up lately just because weird things going on, and like I can't function the next day. Like I'll be like I'm okay, and then I'm just not. It just at some point your brain just goes, you didn't sleep enough. I can't brain right now. You need to just chill out.
yeah, no, there is plenty of research on sleep, and it's not like after I read a book, it's called Why We Sleep. After I read that book, I started prioritizing sleep over my exercise even.
Yeah.
It's a real basis for a lot of things. And I find for me, I work out a lot of my subconscious and conscious stuff in dreaming. So if I have something that's going on that I can't quite figure out, I tend to sleep more and I have these very vivid dreams. And I feel like I work things out in there. I'll wake up finally one day and I'll be like, okay, I finally feel rested. And so whatever it is, so I think there's so much that goes on during that time that we don't even know.
Yeah. And I'm reading Tanya's comment. My body will not let me sleep the past week. So I wonder, Tanya, if you have tried some techniques of what calms you down. Maybe music, maybe reading. I mean, you must have tried. I'm just wondering what things you might have tried.
And Leanne says, so many African women have shown me examples throughout history of creating joy, even in the face of ongoing resistance to opposition. But oppression, sorry. Reading After 5, a story of mistakes.
Not her forte.
No, after 5, my brain starts relaxing. But
Good for
Tanya
you.
says, me too, crazy dreams, but not rested from them, opposite. And I'm not rested until it resolves itself. And I don't always know. Like right now, every night in my dream, I'm somewhere moving furniture and like doing some kind, like it's very interesting. I don't know what it all means. I should talk to my friend Nancy who does dreams. But even when my mother passed decades ago, I would meet her and we would talk through all these things in my dreams, and then finally it was resolved. So that made it very clear and easy. Like my brain went, okay, look, this is what we're doing. Okay, stupid Kathy. And now it's like, you'll figure it out eventually. Tanya says, I've tried music, reading, not eating too late, going to bed earlier. For some reason, I wake up 2 hours after I fall asleep, then back to sleep, and crazy dreams, and wake up at 3 or 4.
There's a whole phenomenon going on right now that I was reading about where there's like a large amount of the population that wakes up between 3 and 4 a.m. every night religiously.
Really?
Okay.
And they were saying that it has something to do with shifting of the plates and us aligning with the planet or some crazy stuff. Well, it went into real crazy real quick. But there is a whole lot of people that are having this. I do it
Okay,
too.
but I can tell you what I did that stopped me from waking up at 3 a.m. I took additional blankets, and for like it wasn't. I didn't know that would be the effect, but because with this cold weather coming in, I was like, I am cold. So I took one blanket, additional blanket. I'm still cold. So what I did was I pulled my sleeping bag and I put the sleeping bag in between the sheets, and like slid under that sleeping bag. And that night I slept like a baby. It's like, wow, no waking at 3 a.m. And I've kept that for 1 week. I have slept through the night without waking up. So I
It's
don't
like your
know
weighted
if
blanket.
you,
Yeah, I
if
have a weighted blanket that I put on. The weight
wait,
really helps. Like I ended up doing it during the pandemic because I was having such trouble sleeping. Another thing, so I think heavy blankets are really helpful. Tanya's already doing that and has a heating pad at her feet. When I was super stressed out during the pandemic, I took magnesium and melatonin. Melatonin is not something for a long-term result, but if you're having something, you can talk to your doctor about that. But I have some magnesium, and magnesium is just a vitamin. It didn't affect me in any kind of negative way. It just made me a little drowsy. And if I went ahead and read past that, I could still stay up until the middle of the night. So that let me feel more safe about it. But you might even see if you're like, if you go to the doctor, if you can be even tested for like a vitamin mineral panel, or just try the magnesium. That's up to you. Tanya's normal wake up for work is 5 a.m. So if I'm up at 3:30, for instance, I can't go to back to bed. I just get. And melatonin gave her nightmares, vivid nightmares. Yeah, and I've heard different things about melatonin about not being recommended. And I have one that has melatonin, GABA, and magnesium mixed together. It's a powder that I only take like kind of when I absolutely have to, but usually this plain old magnesium is enough. So if you have too much of it because it makes you go to the bathroom.
A lot.
Cheryl evidently
A lot.
she can take less than half the recommended dose, and she's still going to poop a lot the next day. I can take the normal dose and I'm fine. So that would, if anybody wants to try it and see, that would be a thing of your body saying there's too much. Just like if you megadosed vitamin C, the same thing could happen.
now there is also in that book that I read about sleep, it says that a third of the people are early risers and a third of the people are night owls and the remaining third are in the middle. And unfortunately, we have this culture that everyone has to wake up in the morning and get up and get ready to go, no matter what their natural circadian rhythm is. So we are forcing these night owls and early risers to have a off. It's off their cycle, and they are not going to be able to sleep well for other people at other people's circadian rhythm, circadian cycles.
That's really interesting to think about too, because you lean more towards the night. I cycle. So it's weird. Like right now, if I stay up late, I will sleep late. If I start going to bed early, I will start getting up early. But going from one to the other takes a couple of weeks, right, to get back up.
I flip flop back and forth between them, and it doesn't work well for me most of the time. So I need to pick one. Pick one. Our neighbors actually, when she was a nurse at Duke, and so she had to she worked during the day, so she had to get up early to go to work and stuff. And since she's retired, I've talked to her a few times, like, oh, we're gonna have some work done, and they're gonna be banging around at the house, and she's like, she's like, well, we sleep until 10 and don't go to bed till 2. So she's like, you know, as long as they don't start before 10, they won't wake us up. I was like, oh my God. So they just adjusted their schedule, and now they just happy as can be over there.
And there are a couple of questions. Let's see. So, yeah, and Leanne said it gave me the squirts. Yeah, that means you're like Cheryl. It might not be for you.
Yeah, you
And
can't leave the house with that stuff.
different kinds of magnesium. So right now I'm using the Moon Juice one. I got it super cheap. It's ridiculously expensive, so I would not recommend that you get it. I got this for like $8, and it's usually like $45. So you do you, but you can get it at Sprouts, but like you can also look at the ingredients. So it has magnesium cleatate blend. This is going to be exciting. Magnesium gluconate, magnesium acetyltaurate, and citrate. I've heard that magnesium citrate is the one that's harder on your stomach, but I'm not positive. So anyhow, you can go and do some reading and research. This has a little bit of everything in it. There's one that I use that has the citrate called Calm, and it doesn't bother me. So Calm is really readily available, and I used that most of the pandemic. It just kept getting a little more expensive, so that's all. Let me just make sure. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I heard you typing, so I wanted to make sure you weren't trying to go say something in the interview chat. All right. And then Elizabeth says, I wake up for work at 5:30. I usually wake up sometime between 12 to 3 every morning to go to the bathroom. Yeah. And Apple says, I was a night owl. It's one of the reasons I was self-employed. And it is I've been self-employed for 13 years?
Longer than that.
Or something. And one of the things that I like is as I'm going through these cycles, I can decide to get up at 5 and work because I try to listen to my body and what does it want. And if it needs another hour of sleep, I sleep another hour. And which is what I'm privileged to be able to do that. Yeah, and Linda said, I've always been a night owl and wondered who made the rule everyone had to be in school or work no later than 8 a.m.
Yeah, that's what Dilip says.
Right?
and then Elizabeth says that usually sleep 9 to 9:30, except for Mondays. Good for you. And then so there are these times that everyone says that I am most productive from this time to this time. And those who can catch that time are the luckiest people, without being interrupted by other responsibilities.
And it's really interesting for me because in what I do, in the content creation world, especially the blogging world, a lot of people are like, you've just got to chunk your time. So on Mondays at 10, you do emails, and at Tuesdays at 4, you write your blog posts. And that doesn't work for me because my brain is neurospicy. I don't know what kind of neurospicy I am, but I'm pretty darn sure. And so I wake up and I'm kind of like, hey, brain, how are you today? What would you like to do? And sometimes brain is like, we're writing all the things. I'm like, let's go. And sometimes brain is like, we're going to make recipes or take pictures. I'm like, okay, well, so I usually try to have my days so I can do that, because if I have something due that's written and it's not a writing day, it'll take 2 to 3 times longer for me to get that task done. Mm-hmm. And that's so frustrating because it shouldn't take this long.
Right.
But it's very interesting to kind of take that and then go, again, since we're positivity, and I just think that I'm so lucky to even start being aware of that so that I can make those choices. And I know we've gotten into a really amazing discussion, but also I don't want to, how would you like to run the next part of this?
Yes, yeah. So let's start our positivity ritual. If you don't mind putting up that picture. Great. So Thanks, Kathy. So, trillions and trillions of galaxies in the universe, we're just seeing a slice of it. There is infinite matter and infinite energy, but there are some places that are special. One of those special places is the little blue dot you see in this picture called Earth. It has got something going, a unique play between the matter and energy. It has life. This earth has cradled the life for millions of years. And it is just amazing that we are a part of it. How lucky we are to be here in spite of all our struggles, in spite of all that is not ideal, in spite of bad things, in spite of cat poop that some of us have to clean. It's still amazing. So on this blue dot, today is January the 14th. It's on the Indian calendar. It is called Uttarayan, which means that the sun will appear to be rising from northeast starting today. So that's the special day today that we are here doing our positivity circle. And with that, let's take a few seconds of silence just to take it in. Right? Now I invite everyone to either share something positive, or if you are not willing to share, please write it down on a piece of paper for yourself, and um, that way you can look at it later. So, who wants to go first?
Sorry, that was the cat just jumped up. I think Fergus wants to go first. We'll see if we get him on the camera. Do you want to?
You can go ahead. I'm still thinking how to work mine.
I think one of the things that I have really come to the forefront, I mentioned in the very beginning, is just feeling like I have a circle of people in different places, like even little bits and pieces of people that I feel like I can talk to about different things. I feel comfortable. I feel accepted for the way I am. I don't feel like I have to change or try to meet expectations. I just feel kind of supported. And it's really amazing that it exists. So I think that's one of the things I'm most grateful for this week. And I think it's the biggest positive thing that's the thread that's going. And Apple is saying later this evening is the first meeting of a newly formed artist collective I joined.
Nice.
That's great. What kind of artists?
She does some different mixed media, I know, but it would be interesting, Apple, to know who some of the other people are. Fergus is out after this, so if you see the struggle that's going on, it's real.
7:52 p.m.
Anybody else want to share some things?
So there is that April? or how do you,
Ollie
I
is
don't
what
know.
she put Ollie before. It's in Russian, so I don't know how to
Okay.
pronounce it. Do you want to read it or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. Fergus, of course, now is in front of it.
Fergus.
My friend Foodie Beauty is leaving the house more and doing live streams, grocery shopping. This is great as she usually streams inside and sounds sad. She's been goofy and positive all week. And it is really nice to see other people lifted up too. That can really have a big effect on people. And then Apple says, disabled artists of all the different types of art. I'm a fiber and mixed media artist.
Wow, that's awesome. And that must be, I mean, you must get inspired by so many different eclectic people. Um,
One thing that I know too, that Apple, you know how people have the little free libraries outside their house or apartments? She has the little free art gallery. So she makes little art pieces to give away, and sometimes sometimes she makes art kits that people can come and take, which I think is a really brilliant idea, and another reason why I wish she lived near me.
you got to move.
And Ollie says it's the word that we're seeing means friend. It's pronounced drug,
True.
possibly. That's the best. That's my best try. And she says you can call me Ollie. Thank you. I do. I just don't want to butcher your name.
I finally came to the realization this week. I shouldn't say I came to the realization, but it finally actually hit me this week that I really am a member of several different communities that are there for me to lift me up. Not just our community, but another creator community I'm in our eCam family. And everybody has just been kind of like this giant mosh pit of holding me up all these months, you know, while I've been going through whatever I was going through. And now I'm on the other side and realizing that, you know, as my friend Paul said, sometimes you have to let the universe hit you upside the head with a 2x4 to realize where you needed to be all along. And I'm finally realizing that where I needed to be all along is where I am right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually Gretchen and Obs, who were on here, they're also in that eCam community, which is pretty nice.
Well, they're also in the creator, Gretchen's in the creator community too.
Yeah, the video creator. So we do have some places where we go and we learn about things, but like when we go to the eCam conference, I call it they literally made buttons, I'm huggable. So everybody who didn't want to be hugged could not wear them, because there's more hugging going on there than any other place I've ever been. And Adriana says, I made banana bread in my bread machine.
Awesome.
I can smell it.
That's awesome. Banana bread. Now I want it.
Right? Me too.
And Tanya said that I've been making it a point to FaceTime with my parents at least once a week now, and I'm really happy I'm doing it. I always feel better for it. Yes, they are so happy to have excellent.
And that's one of the things that's in the news, and like Dr. Fetterman, I think, is talking about a lot, is that lack of connection that we're having sometimes. And so I feel like things like this positivity circle is what flips that on its head, right? Because then you have that focused time with other people and hearing about what's going on with them. And Adriana said, oh, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I didn't know if the cat was hiding your view.
He's on his own. He's got his own stool now, so.
See, he's literally sitting next to Cheryl on his own stool, but he wanted to kind of harass me a little bit.
Okay. So So Adriana says, I have to say I have beautiful people in my life online. That's great.
That's
Whatever
awesome.
fills your cup.
That's true. And what would you like to share?
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, the big thing about Dilip is that um, he's, first of all, he's a lot better than he was when I had to take him to the ER with these mysterious symptoms that doctors have not found any reason yet. Um, But the good thing, the positive thing is they have ruled out everything that would have been scary. So we
That's
know
great.
that is just like such a relief that is nothing to worry. It's just whatever it is, it's gonna resolve hopefully soon. He is getting better and better every day, but it's slow. The progress is slow, but it's progress.
That's awesome.
And that's really important too. And
Yes.
would oh, here we go. Apple's saying, I am most grateful for each day I have with my senior cat. Our days together are growing thin, and I cherish each moment with her. And that there is a beauty and a sadness when you have senior animals. We lost our senior dog last year, but there is something like this beautiful bonding that you get to feel with them, and it's such a special bond. And we're on the opposite now. Now we have a young cat who's just being fun and crazy. Fergus is the grown-up 3-year-old in the household, and then we have one that's not quite 1 year old. And watching her grow out and become braver and be silly is really brought a lot of joy that I wasn't expecting it to bring.
Yeah. We just sometimes will be on the couch working on our laptops or something, and then basically you'll just all of a sudden see this blur go through the air, and you're like, what was that? And she's flying, jumping over something to just grabbing onto the
her
cat
and Fergus
tree.
wrestle like they're playing. They're not fighting, and so it's just delightful. And does anybody else have something they'd like to share? And you can write it down and I can read it, or like Sangeeta said, you can write it on a piece of paper and keep it private as well. And, you know, what I would say, and Sangeeta, tell me if you feel differently, is whatever thing that you've brought today that came up for being positive, I might write that down anyhow, just for the next coming month.
Definitely.
Yeah. Leanne says she's the same with a 16-year-old blind dog, soaking up the time. And it is lovely when you feel so comfortable and have such a bond. And Ollie's saying we found a positive angle in an unfortunate situation. And it's hard. And the thing is those of us with pets, you know, you get to have the silly time when they're young that you're ready for them to grow out of sometimes. And then, you know, it's worth it. It's all worth it. Hey, Ron, it's good to see you. We're in the positivity circle. So if you have anything that you're feeling really positive about, you'd like to share with the group, or that positive that happened to you or that you noticed this past few weeks. Aw, Elizabeth says that she's grateful for us creating this community.
Oh,
And we're very grateful to have you as our friend.
Yeah. We're actually going to be traveling with Elizabeth a couple more times in the upcoming months. So, but we
Yes.
met her because she came to the community.
amazing.
Yeah.
She makes us a little more bold than we might be necessarily on our own. So that's a good thing.
It's true. It's true.
It's a positive thing.
And anything else you would like to talk about, Sangeeta?
So, if everyone is done sharing their positive thoughts, I can end with I have thought of a verse. Um, this time, uh, uh, it's actually a few verses, and it is a translation of the verse that I recited last time. Uh, and that was Sarvatra Sukhina Santu, means may everyone be happy. Now, in that verse, uh, it is implied that all beings means not just humans but also all living beings. But in these verses that I have chosen, not only that it is a translation, but it specifically says that thing says it about the animals, and that may we also have happy and healthy relationships with the animals as well, not just human beings. So that it specifically has those wordings in that. So if it's okay with that, I would like to begin my recitation. Kathy, that's okay?
Please, please do. And that's beautiful. So thank you for letting us know that too.
Yeah, and the beauty of these verses is that it says that those who are doing bad things, may they stop doing bad things. So it's about like people changing. It's about not just like, oh, you are a bad person, so there is no hope for you. Instead of that, it says that those who are doing bad things, may their deeds change and they start doing good things. um, and in that, everyone love each other. So that's the gist of it. So this is how it goes. आता विश्वात्मके देवे येणे वाक्यज्ञे तोषावे तोषो निमज द्यावे पसायदान हे जे खळांची व्यंकटी सांडो तया सत्कर्मी रती वाढो भूता परस्परे जडो मैत्र जीवांचे दुरितांचे तिमिर जावो विश्वस्वधर्म सूर्ये पाहो जो जे वांछील तो ते लाहो प्राणी जात.
That was lovely.
So beautiful. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
I just closed my eyes
did
and took
too.
it all in, and it was just,
It was so soothing and like relaxing. It was like I could just feel myself just kind of melting into it a little bit.
yeah, and you have just a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
And Ollie says thank you, and that she loves this message as well.
Thank you.
Any thoughts you want to end? What do I look up to find this verse?
Oh, yeah, I will. But okay, I will send some links.
Okay,
It's
if you
called.
do, I can
Yeah,
put it up.
Yeah, it's called Pasayadan. And interesting thing about Pasayadan is this was composed by a 12th century Saint Gnaneshwar. And it's about like taking a extremely negative situation and turning it into positive. his whole story, life story, is like that. So they were born. Sant Gyaneshwar was born in a Brahmin family, but his father did something that, if you ask me, a really minor offense, but it wasn't very Brahminical purity. The Puritans, they said that that is not acceptable, and so they were outcast. And so his children, were um, little, and one of them was this saint. And so they really started to question this, this Brahminical, the rigid rules about do's and don'ts, and this is allowed and this is not allowed. And uh, they were when the community outcasted them, they didn't really have enough food even. But in that moment, this saint just questioned everything about the Brahminical practices at the time, which were like, women are not allowed to recite the Vedas. Anyone who was not a Brahmin, a man, wasn't allowed to recite the Vedas. And these Vedas have this beautiful philosophy in it, and he realized that it is depriving so many people, and now he wasn't allowed to recite it because they were outcasts. So what he did is amazing. He just translated everything into the common people's language, which was a derivative of Sanskrit, which is called Prakrit. And so it was translated. It wasn't Sanskrit and it wasn't the original Vedas, so anyone could recite it. And so that is a story of resilience and hope and positivity. And in that, he gave a message of peace and love to everyone.
That's cool.
It's so amazing all the way around. And can you look at the comment? Because I don't want to try and pronounce. Apple said, is it?
Poseidon, yes.
Okay.
Yes. That is correct. Yes.
Poseidon.
Yes.
Poseidon? Okay.
Actually, just like
Poseidon.
it looks. Poseidon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poseidon.
And says, thanks you for singing it. Jill says, thank you for the beautiful song. Elizabeth says, beautiful music. So thank you. Like, I forgot that we ended on such a beautiful, profound note, because like just taking that moment of silence and sitting and accepting what you're singing and just letting it all in and wash over is like very awesome. I don't even know
Thank
how
you.
else to say. Yeah. Well, and thank you for the explanation too, because
Yeah, that's cool.
that was amazing.
I love
learned-
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it helped everything solidify too, and I loved the message of the story. Do you have anything else you want to say before we end this today?
I hope everyone stays well. There is a lot of struggle around us, and I hope that when we help ourselves, we are in a position to help others who are in more difficult situation than we are. So, so thank you everyone for coming, joining this circle, and hope to see you next time.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely. And thank you guys all so very much, and for sharing, and Sangeeta for all of your hard work and love that you brought into the circle today.
And yes, Apple, feel free.
Yeah. Oh, of
Yeah.
course. Please do. Apple says that she has the prayer in many languages in an audio file, so she's going to share that in a comment so that we can all see it. So that's amazing.
Amazing.
And everybody's saying thank you. I'm sure you're seeing some of those too. And we appreciate you guys coming and hanging out, and for us to have our little seed of positivity to get ready for the next month. And just thank you all for being here, and we will see you guys next month. Okay? All right, and Sangeeta, please let us know if there's anything we can do to help if you end up needing it, and we are all wishing Dilip a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, good
I-
night,
I'll let you know.
everybody. Oh, I'm
Bye.
sorry.
No, I said I'll let you know if there is any, if I need anything.